Hi everyone, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with another weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that really supports your health and wellness. This week I'm in my kitchen and we are going to talk about packing lunches, but packing them in low toxin and toxin-free containers and lunch boxes. Now, this post and video is really geared towards kids' lunches, but I will tell you that a lot of the products that I'm going to recommend to you are things that I use for myself when I have to eat lunch on the go as well. So what we're doing is we're cutting out a lot of plastics and we're replacing them with all kinds of great materials: stainless steel, food grade silicone, glass, and paper. These are all excellent options for packing lunches in a really low toxin way. And I just want to encourage you, because this process for me has taken years. I did not just replace everything in my kitchen at once. I kind of slowly picked at it. One of the biggest things that I did was get rid of anything that I really didn't need. So I don't know if you can relate, but we had a cabinet filled with water bottles, and a lot of them were plastic. We ended up just getting rid of most of them because in the grand scheme of things, we all only need maybe 2 water bottles each, so that one can be washed and one can be used. So we pared down a lot at the beginning of this process, and then we slowly replaced things with non-toxic options. And so as time went on, we slowly just removed all of the plastic, and now we have a really great inventory of toxin-free lunch containers that are stainless steel, glass, silicone, and then we do use paper for packing things away, like unbleached parchment paper, unbleached sandwich paper. These are all really great options for packing your kids' lunches. And so I am going to take you through a couple slides that really break down how you can go about this process in your own home, and then I'm going to share with you my favorite picks. If you're someone who likes to read the blog post, or you want to click on those links that I'm sharing, head over through the link at the bottom of the video description. Otherwise, we'll get started. So swapping out things like my kids' lunch boxes and lunchbox containers has been a really long process for our family, because it just wasn't feasible to completely switch out everything we had and then replace it all with brand new. We did just a little bit at a time. And the biggest help I can offer, besides obviously helping you find non-toxic kids' lunchbox options in the first place, is to share with you that home takes time, and a healthy home takes time too. Changing just one thing at a time is not only easier, but it also ends up being a more sustainable change. So don't stress if you're not able to change every single thing you want at this exact moment in time. If it helps to jot down the order in which you're going to swap items out, then do that. I know I like to get my thoughts out of my head that way, and it gives me peace to have a bit of a plan. So just knowing what steps you'll be taking to reduce toxins is a huge start to living a non-toxic life. So let's jump in here. We're going to talk about plastic and your food, and I'm just going to say it. There is no plastic that is truly 100% safe or healthy for kids in their lunches in any way. Even if the product boasts BPA free or PVC free, there are still other toxins present that are just not as regulated, but still very dangerous. So this is why the best approach is to just completely remove plastic from your kids' lunchbox inventory and to be completely non-toxic. Some of the big toxins in plastics are especially harmful with regular use. The first is bisphenol toxins. So this is BPA, BPS, BPF, and then there are also others. They've started to become regulated. However, just a word of warning, something that is BPA free probably also has other bisphenol toxins, maybe BPS, which is actually more dangerous than BPA. So bisphenol toxins mimic estrogen and disrupt our natural hormone production. And in the US, studies have shown that nearly all of us have BPA toxins in our bodies, which really means that we're all being exposed to this toxin in such large amounts that our bodies are unable to keep up with naturally getting rid of it before more enters our body. Bisphenol toxins have been linked to obesity, especially in children, impaired learning and memory, aggressive behaviors, increased risk of type 2 diabetes, and impaired glucose tolerance, altered liver function, impaired reproductive function, and even early onset puberty. Another toxin is polyvinyl chloride. So this is also known as PVC, and it's made up of a slew of toxic chemicals that are harmful to humans and especially to our kids. PVC plastic releases toxins such as dioxins and phthalates during its life cycle, which we come in contact with during the use of these plastics. So the human body has been negatively affected by these toxins, and over time the chemicals have been shown to cause cancer, harm the immune system, and negatively affect the reproductive system. Phthalates are a type of toxin within plastic that is highly unregulated. This means that the toxin can be in any plastic you or your kids come in contact with, and legally no one even needs to let you know about it. Phthalates build up in the body as we're exposed to them, and because of this, the body has a hard time detoxifying it fast enough. In fact, an EPA study showed that most children's bodies contain well over the allotted limit. Phthalate exposure has been linked to abnormal reproductive development as well as neurological toxicity in kids and adults. Some phthalates are also known endocrine disruptors, meaning they hinder our natural hormone production and can in turn cause issues with thyroids, immune system, and the reproductive process. There was actually an in-depth study, and I'm going to quote it here. It said, recent studies also show that prenatal exposure to phthalates is associated with adverse impacts on neurodevelopment, including lower IQ and problems with attention and hyperactivity and poor social communication in children. Styrene, good news is that it has been tested and studied showing that it is not an endocrine disruptor. However, there are other problems that this toxin exposure poses for those who come in contact with it, even at low exposure rates. So the big red flag is that styrene is classified as a mutagen, and it means it's potentially carcinogenic to humans. So in fact, styrene has been anticipated to be a probable carcinogen in humans and has been shown to be carcinogenic to animals. Styrene also has many harmful side effects on the central nervous system, causing significant negative changes to the nervous system itself. It has also been shown to cause memory loss, difficulties in concentrating and learning, brain and liver damage, and in line with these cognitive issues, styrene has been linked to poor visual and sensory function in those with moderate exposure to the chemical. In pregnant women, styrene exposure at moderate levels has been linked to low birth weights as well as reduced fertility in otherwise healthy women. And finally, styrene is a contributor to chronic diseases, and they have found that it actually accelerates the onset and progression of these diseases in otherwise healthy individuals. So those are the big toxins. I think, let's talk about the positive, and let's look at some great alternatives to these plastics. So first is stainless steel. It's an excellent option when it comes to kids' lunchbox options. I love that they're basically indestructible and aren't going to be super heavy for them to carry around either. A high-grade stainless steel such as surgical grade or 18-8 or 18-10 is best because it won't have aluminum, chromium, or nickel present in the material. Another option is food-grade silicone. Reusable snack bags, gallon bags, and sandwich bags are perfect to have on hand for snacks or separating food in your kid's lunchbox. Silicone should be food-grade or platinum to ensure that it is pure silicone and safe for contact with food. Glass is like the OG of non-toxic materials. It's been around forever. It's so basic and simple. It is absolutely perfect. Glass containers are really durable, and despite what you might think, they really don't break all that often. You can find glass containers with silicone sleeves around it to protect them even more in your little one's hands. And it's also usually a pretty inexpensive swap when you're switching from plastic to a non-toxic material. And just as a side note, we love glass because it can usually go right into the oven for a quick reheat when you're going to be eating at home or somewhere where there's a spot to warm up food.
And then finally, paper. So you want to look for unbleached paper, but paper products like sandwich paper, butcher paper, and parchment paper are great additions to your inventory for lunchtime. They're all toxin-free and can be really handy to quickly wrap up something that might not need an entire container. Plus, if your kids are anything like mine, you might hesitate sending containers to school for fear that you might not see them again. And so paper is great in this sense, as it can just be recycled instead of brought back home. And of course, I'm going to share with you my Healthy House favorites. I have these all linked on the blog this week, and they are my top picks. The middle 3-in-1 splash box is hands down the favorite at my house. We all kind of fight over who's going to get it, and it doesn't leak. It is completely non-toxic, so I have that one linked for you guys, and a way to get a coupon on it from Eco Lunchbox, which is an amazing website with some amazing products. So head to the blog post, which is linked at the bottom of the video, and you can get all the links for those products.
You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always love sharing information in videos and products that I love in videos, and so I'm very thankful that you're here, and I hope that you were able to just get something that you can take away and apply at your own home. I will be back next week with another Healthy House tip on creating an indoor space that really supports your health and wellness.